Hi, I'm Simon from Taro Analytics, and in this video I'm going to show you how a company using the gecko.rent platform can optimize routes and manage deliveries using Taro routing. Here I've prepared a scenario, Monday routes, consisting of 40 jobs, which is a mix of 30 deliveries and 10 returns. Deliveries are where we're taking something to an address. A return is picking it up and bringing it back to the warehouse. I've already created my jobs through the gecko.rent platform, and I can view any one of my jobs on the map by clicking on it, looking at the job attachments to see if there are units to deliver or returns, or I can click on the job in the job list to view it on the map. As I've created my jobs, the next step is to activate the vehicles that I have available to me. Here, I'm going to select all my drivers. I've created 8 drivers in my delivery profile, so that's 8 vehicles, and each vehicle in this scenario is departing the warehouse at 9 a.m. and must be back by 5 p.m. Once I've activated the vehicles, I click Let's Route to optimize. Once I click Let's Route, that sends the available vehicles and the jobs to our optimization algorithm, which starts calculating which vehicle should visit which job in what order so that the driving time is minimized across the fleet. Depending on the number of jobs you have, this will take anywhere between 15 to 20 seconds and maybe 5 or 10 minutes for over 1,000 jobs. In my case, with 40 jobs, the optimization is finished very quickly. From here, I can view the routes that have been created, and the first thing that you'll notice is of the 8 drivers that I said were available, the optimization algorithm has suggested that it's possible to do all of these jobs with only 6 drivers, and 2 routes are left with 0 jobs. I can view any one of the routes in detail by clicking on the route and zooming in on the map. Here I can see the ETA at each of the destinations, and if I want to compare 2 routes together, I can click and expand multiple routes at the same time. Now, in my case, as a transport planner, perhaps I want to utilize all the drivers that I have available to me or make some changes to the routes. There are 2 ways that I can make changes to the routes. The first is using the timeline. So clicking on the runs action bar, navigating to the timeline. From here, I can see a time representation in time of each of the driver's days and the jobs that they are visiting along the way. You'll notice that I've colored the return jobs in purple and the normal jobs in blue. As the planner, I want to allocate some jobs to my NYC driver 2. So looking at the map, I want to grab some jobs that are close, maybe job 40, drag that in. Clicking on a job on the map will highlight it in the timeline, so I can easily grab the jobs that I want to see, and then I can, I won't grab a return, move the jobs as I see fit into NYC driver 2. From here, I can re-optimize just that run so that I can get the run into an optimal sequence and that driver is driving efficiently. The second way to move jobs around on the map is by clicking and dragging. So pressing Shift on my keyboard, I can click on the map, draw a box around the jobs that I want to move, and I can send them to a run, in this case, NYC driver 3, the other driver that had no runs. Again, I could choose to re-optimize that driver's run if I wanted. Once I've finished planning and moving jobs around, I can advance to the tracking stage and I can dispatch my runs to the drivers. From tracking, again, I can click on the tracking action bar and dispatch. This will bring up the dispatch modal. Here I can see the driver profile that has been allocated automatically to each run based on my defaults. And I can change this as a planner. If, for example, Tom was unavailable today, I could allocate this route to Harry. Equally, I can record the vehicle that's driving the route, and if the vehicle was unavailable for whatever reason, I could change which vehicle was allocated to the route. So I record the information of which vehicle drove which route and which driver was driving the vehicle for my proof of delivery later on. I can enter an email address or have it stored automatically and dispatch the run via a link to the driver who can use the Tarot driver app to open it. Alternatively, the drivers can log in and access the runs through their profile, or, and often what we find best case, is we can download a run sheet PDF, which can be printed off and given to the drivers to work as a backup, and also help the warehouse out when they are loading. So from here, I can see each run is separated onto a different page, and the run details are pre-filled with space for manual delivery in the case that a driver were to lose his phone or the phone was to have an issue, and a QR code which is scanned by the driver in order to manage his load his run sheet. Sorry. Now, give me 1 second and I will bring up the driver app and show you how the driver loads his run sheet. Now, with the Tarot driver app open on my phone, I can click scan a run sheet, and when I scan the QR code, it will load the run information for that QR code as a driver, so I can start driving. Now, as a driver, I can see that I have 10 items to load, 10 items to deliver, and 3 items to pick up and return back to the warehouse. Clicking on my run sheet, I can see where I'm going and when I need to be there, the ETAs and the ETDs, and any delivery instructions along as customer information. And I can also view on the map my route. But first step as a driver is to load my vehicle. So clicking on loading, I can see for each job the items that need to go in my vehicle. Now, as I load each item, I can tick it off the list and the item will be marked as loaded. You can see as I'm ticking off each item, the progress bar for loading advances. If I was to click X, I can mark the unit as missing. It was not available on the dock or the warehouse to load, or I can say there's another issue. Perhaps it was loaded with reservations because the unit, the item was damaged, and as a driver, I didn't want to be held responsible for it. But assuming everything's correct, I can go through and my 2 jobs where I have deliveries are now fully loaded. My 3rd job, which is returns, there's nothing to load. So once I get to the bottom of my loading checklist, I hit back and the start route button is highlighted and ready to go. Now, when I click start route, I can add in my starting miles to record start time and start odometer to compare against the actual miles driven compared with the planned miles driven. I can add any photos to the start of the route, or signatures of the dock master to say that everything is loaded. And Taro has the ability to build customizable start route checklists to record things like vehicle checks or loading information checks, so you can prove that things were loaded properly, items were tied down, etc., etc. Once I click Start Route, that sends the information back to Taro, and straight away as a planner I can see that this driver has started driving because of the wheel icon next to his run. As he started driving, I can now see all of his ETAs have been updated based on the time he's departed from the warehouse, and I can configure Taro and Gecko to send notifications to the customer to say that your delivery is on the way and present updated ETA times. For the driver, I can now click on the address to open Google Maps, Apple Maps, Waze, or my favorite navigation app to navigate me from my current location to the address. And then once I arrive, I click on the job to enter the delivery checklist. Here, I need to unload the items, pick up any returns, take customer acceptance of the delivery, and then capture photo, signature, and comment proof of delivery information. So similarly to loading, I click to unload and enter the unloading units checklist. Here, I mark off all the units as they are delivered. With 5 out of 5 units delivered, I can go back and straight away we've advanced to customer acceptance. Assuming the customer is happy, I can hit accepted and add any photos, signature, or comments. And in this case, we have a signature required. So as I add a signature, and for good measure, I can add a photo as well. Multiple photos are accepted. Once I've added my proof information, I can hit successful and move on to my next job. Back in the platform, the planner can see straight away that the job has been delivered. The job gets a tick next to it and the signature time is recorded. I can access proof information from the job, and I can see the signature information, photos taken with the job, as well as the latitude and longitude of where the delivery was made. Coming down further, I can also see the proof information of the units as they were loaded and unloaded, and I can download a proof of delivery document or have this document sent directly to the customer. Completing my second job as the driver, I can quickly mark all my deliveries as successful, accepted, capture my signature again, mark the job as successful, and then get to my final job, which is a pickup. Here, the delivery checklist looks slightly different as there's no units to mark on the checklist to unload. But you can see that I have 3 returns to pick up. Entering the returns checklist, I can see my 3 items, and then same as loading and unloading, picking up my returns is as simple as clicking the success button. With my returns picked up, everything accepted. I can again capture a signature if it's required. And mark the job as complete. Back in the platform, we can see all the delivery information has come through. And we can see the progress of the route on the progress report, seeing jobs completed, units loaded and unloaded, and then job actions. We can highlight any unsuccessful jobs, loading exceptions or unloading exceptions, so we can jump on things that go wrong as soon as they go wrong. Tarot can be configured to send notifications directly to the planners or the warehouse in the event of an unsuccessful delivery, so that you can jump on an unsuccessful delivery the moment it happens rather than waiting for an angry customer to call you. Finally, as a driver, now I've finished my deliveries and I get back to the warehouse, I need to mark in the returns that I picked up as back at the warehouse. So from here, enter my warehouse returns, selecting the job which I picked up my returns from, marking everything as returned successfully before I hit close route, enter my end odometer reading, recording the time as well, and close. Once the route is closed, Tarot, the driver app, stops tracking the device that it's running on. And that's it. A quick highlight, a quick overview of how Tarot routing can be used by gecko.rent customers to manage optimizing routes and delivery to your customers. Please reach out to the Tarot team or the Gecko team if you have any questions. Cheers.